Good morning, everybody. So we're going to go over today's look. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to drop a real nugget today because I think you need to be aware of this. First things, we're on a higher low on the daily into a resistance zone. So we got to see how it reacts to this resistance area. Well, let's get to the nugget. All right, I really want to get to this nugget. Haven't seen this in quite some time. On a quarterly chart, right? If price continues to stay in the same direction that it's in right now, it's going to give you a bullish engulfing bar, right? And that is very, very bullish after the fact that it gave you a bearish bar here, and then it broke down, and then it couldn't break down, and then it's taken back off. That is an anomaly that doesn't happen often. So you got to be really, really careful about really careful about that. And this thing may break the highs, but even if it does break the highs, I'm worried about this. Also, I see this divergence, and this is just the stuff that I'm looking at forecasting and how I see it. I don't know, once this bar finishes here on a quarterly chart, and the quarterly chart is going to be done at the end of December, right? So it's going to be done at the end of this month, in a couple of days. I can't see this market dropping 1,000 points in 2 or 3 days. I'm not saying it won't, I'm just saying I can't see it. With that being said, I'm sitting here telling you in no uncertain terms, if it gives you a bullish engulfing bar or bullish outside bar after giving you a bearish bar right before it, you may have some more movement to the upside, and you may have a very high potential of it breaking. Yeah. Now, once it breaks the highs, that's going to be the next question, because there are a lot of things going on from a macroeconomic standpoint that would give you reason for pause. But I tell people this very, very simple thing: follow price. So with that said, price is heading up, and I will get to the day's trading now. So with that said, let's get to it. Good morning, Ronald.
Good morning.
Good morning, Keith.
Morning.
And good morning, Quentin.
Good morning.
All right. So we have a whole situation here, right? And the market is now turning down, but we don't have any kind of alignment. So I'm not even looking at taking a trade, not even a little bit. So we're going to wait for that alignment. And what I mean by that is the same thing we've been doing, which is this is red and red right now. That means momentum, short-term and long-term momentum on this chart is down, but only short-term momentum is down on here. You have long-term momentum up, which should give you a reason to pause, because that could be an ABC pattern right here to go back to the upside. So since we don't have an alignment, there's not anything to do or even talk about trying to do. So we're just gonna chill. Ronald, do me a favor while we're waiting. Can you tell the crowd what the news was for today again, please?
Yes. 8:30 we had an orange folder, unemployment claims, yellow folder, goods trade balance, and another yellow folder, prelim wholesale inventory. At 10 a.m. we have an orange folder, pending home sales. 10:30 yellow folder, natural gas storage, and 11 a.m. we have a yellow folder, crude oil inventories.
All right, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard, we've had some orange folders to happen previously this morning, and we have an orange folder at 10 o'clock. Everything else is yellow folders, so we'll just kind of play the market as it gives it to us here. But dang, there's nothing to do at the present moment because you don't have alignment. And because you don't have alignment, you don't really have an opportunity here. So we'll just wait on it and allow everything to come to us. He gave you a trend within a counter trend trade, and we didn't take that. That happened right at 9:35 here with the entry. Yeah, that entry is tough too. Because your entry's down here. Or if you want to take the close below on the 3-bar reversal, you can do that, just realizing that you're taking a chance. And that entry would have been a little bit better at 29. Didn't call it, didn't trade it, because it's trading within the counter. So we'll just wait on everything to line up. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. I was pushing up here. This is why you steer clear and wait. Wait. You wait on everything that you want to see, and then you allow the market to come to you. That being said, are there any questions, comments? I have a comment that I'm going to make once I let you guys go first. And then questions, comments that I have either from the crowd or from the crew.
People think this is easy, but the biggest thing you got to overcome and master is waiting. Waiting for what you want to see.
Yeah, that I call patience and pounds. That you got to be patient, and when it's time, you got to pounce. Yeah, so
Lion pounce. That's it for me. That's gonna be my new one. The lion pounces.
so yeah, so you just sit here and wait on it. That's pretty good. That Quentin, I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot because that is true. Waiting on everything to line up for you. Every trade is not your trade. Every trade is not a trade on the chart that you're looking at. And see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to bring that up, ladies and gentlemen. I want to talk about this. Some people might say, well, Will, why didn't you take this trade right here? Well, because I felt like it was, no, it didn't feel like it. It was trend within counter trend because my longer time frame was still up and potentially going up. Well, that trade now just stopped you out if you had taken it. And you now, then if it comes back down, you're going to be sick to the stomach because now it's moving, right? And it's not giving you everything that you want to see. So that's it. So I apologize, gentlemen. What we got? Anybody else got any questions, comments? Anything?
No, not at the moment.
No, I'm good. I don't have anything right now.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to take care of this. So there we go. There we go. This way, I mean, trading the way you're supposed to trade, ladies and gentlemen, and let me give you the way you're supposed to trade, right? Profitably. Whatever your system is. What our system is, we're trend traders, so we try to take the trend within trend trades. Almost, I'll say, I'm not going to say 100% of the time, but I'm going to say probably 90% of the time. We try to take trend within trend trades, and so if it doesn't align with what we're trying to do, then there's nothing for us to do. And we don't have, let me talk about this too. We don't have indicators on here and trading indicators. We're just confirming what we're seeing in price to give you extra confidence. It's kind of like training wheels, right? I heard somebody say that a couple of weeks ago. Kind of like training wheels, just to kind of help you balance what you're seeing to make sure that, okay, yeah, that's exactly what it's supposed to be doing. I don't give the settings and all that kind of stuff, and I don't kind of tell what indicators I use except for the moving averages. I do tell you that I use momentum indicators, um, and we set our indicators to mimic price, right? Because if you notice when price gets to moving in a certain direction, the indicator turns. When price gets moving in another direction, the indicator turns. And I'm looking at my 2700 just to give you an example, right? Now I'll blow it up here. So you'll see that the short-term momentum indicator moves with price, right? And that's what you want to see, right? You want to see. And then when it's not moving with price, like in this particular case, this thing is going down, but that's going up. That's telling you that it's divergent and could be trying to head down, which is exactly what it did. But divergence is a story for another day. And then that's it. So I mean, there's nothing to do right now until we get alignment, and alignment won't happen until both of my momentum indicators on my 8100 are saying the same thing. Until then, there is literally zero for me to do except wait on that. Right? Trading this way, you get anywhere from 2 up to about 5 opportunities a day. And you just have to be ready to take them when you see them. Simple as that. So now we'll play some elevator music for y'all, but I'm not gonna do it to you. I'm just
Hey, it depends on who in the elevator.
Yeah, it depends on who's in the elevator, right? So I'm looking forward to 2024. Because ladies and gentlemen, I'll tell you this, we trade trends and reversals. That's it. We don't trade anything else. We trade trends and we trade reversals. Right? So this 8100 has now made a lower low, lower high, and a lower low. Right? But those were 1 bar pullbacks. It wasn't market structure. So yeah. From a market structure standpoint, it's made a lower high and a lower low. So we'd be looking for the lower high in this instance for it to go back down. So right now, the reason why you're in flux is because you have a lower high and a lower low, but you don't have another lower high because we defined the trend by legs. Go ahead. Who was about to say something?
See an ABC pattern on the 8100?
It is a very high probability that that's a ABC pattern on 8100. So and ladies and gentlemen, so just so you know what we talk about when we talk about the ABC pattern, I'll draw that for you as well. Text right there. So you have your A, your B, and potentially your C. It's not confirmed yet, but it's the same drawing as I draw all the time, right? So, and I'll draw it for you so you can see it, right? This is the question. Will it do that? Don't know the answer to that. I'm sitting here telling you, That's the only thing we really trade. Now we're not going to trade an ABC pattern on the 8100, but we will trade an ABC pattern on the 300 when the 8100 has told us that both momentums are going up and the trend is going up, or both momentums are going down and the trend is going up. So, and our trend is defined by our moving averages. You know, we kind of use what I call trend line moving averages. So if these moving averages are crossed up, you have a pretty high probability the trend is going to go up, and if it's crossed down, it's a pretty high probability it's going to go down, if in fact it's coinciding with the other multiple time frames. So let me talk about this as well. I trade a system that nobody's going to ever teach you in the world, right? And everybody got, there are a million different people on the internet talking about they can trade, and some of them are very, very legit. I know some of them, and they're very, very legit. But I once was a professional trader, and I'm sitting here telling you, you won't hear this term much, price flow analysis. And basically, you're looking at the correlation between price and volume and multiple time frames. And you're basically looking at how those things correlate, then tell you which direction the high probability of the direction of the market may be headed in. And that's really at the end of the day, that's the high level overview of it, of what we do. I am going to erase all this. Let's just see what this thing does, because now you have a nuance that I talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is when we have two bars closed below that magenta moving average, signifies that this thing's probably going to be headed down. Okay? So we just wait on our opportunities, trying to let the big boys tell us which direction they're trying to take everything today. Make sure that that's what it is. Trying to make sure that's what it is. And hold on while that was a nice one. ABC pattern. Okay. But it was still trending to me at the moment. It did that. Yeah. Ooh, he waits. So y'all tell me what you want to see. So I mean, this is the boring part of what we do. And they're waiting on it. You know, you can go make your sandwich or take a phone call. Something like that. So just watch. What we want to do is let the 8100 be our catalyst chart. And then we start dialing down from there to opportunities once it's like that. We haven't had anything in real life just yet. Not a trend within trend trade. We've had two trend within counter trend trades. One of them was a loser, one of them was a winner. So now we just wait. Now we just wait. Anything y'all want me to go over?
I think there's a question on the YouTube chat.
Oh, wow. Well, can somebody read it to me? Because I don't have it up. Let me see if I can see.
Says what should we be looking to happen after the ABC pattern?
So you should be looking for price to then go up in this direction. And your ABC, I'm sorry, your ABC pattern should head in the upward direction there, like that.
Hmm.
But it'll be confirmed once price closes above that high. That's when it's confirmed. Right now. Right now, that's what it would be. It will be confirmed once it got above and closed above that number. And that number is, if it gets lower than this, then you'll drop it until it's no longer valid, until it gets above 36.75. So if it closes above 36.75, then we know for a fact it's going to go up. I hope that answered your question. We're looking for the ABC pattern to confirm itself by closing above the horizontal white line to go in that upward direction. And then you'd be looking for the market to make a pretty significant move to the upside, at least the amount. And this is something I haven't talked about with anyone, to be honest with you, but I'm going to give you something now. You'd be looking for it to go at least that amount once it breaks, once it closes above that high. So then all you have to do then is say, where do I want my target to be? All you have to do is say, once it closes above there, then your target can be something like that, right? That's where your target is. So you'd be looking for it to get to about 200, right? I'm not saying it's going to do that. I'm not saying it's not going to do that. That's just what you'd be looking for. So, and right now she's stalling, right? There's nothing that you don't want to be in this thing one way or the other. Right now, you want to be relaxed and just sitting in the tree waiting on your prey to roll by.
While we're waiting, just to piggyback on that, just to kind of connect terms to things that we talk about, the ABC pattern is one of our reversals, one of the reversal patterns that the market can do. The 7 things that
Yeah. That is correct. So, there are 4 kinds of reversals, everybody, that are completely out there. You have the ABC pattern, the 1, 2, 3 pattern, 2B pattern, and a 3B pattern, or 3-bar pattern. So you have those 3 kinds of patterns. And we look for a trend. And once trend goes the way we want it to go, then we look for a reversal, ABC reversal, to go in that direction. And sometimes you can cheat the entry by getting in on a 3-bar reversal. Then at other times you'd wait for the confirmation of the 2B reversal. The ABC reversal is usually a pattern reversal in a larger move. 2B and 3-bar reversals are ways for you to get in to the trade from an immediate standpoint. And then the 1, 2, 3 reversal is a reversal that usually happens after a big move in one direction. So, we won't get into the details of that. We'll talk about it as it comes up. if it comes up. So now this price has moved down to now closing. Excuse me. Now, here. So now price closes above that number. We know that it should go up to the upside. Not saying it, there's no guarantees in the market, but it should. And we just wait. We just wait. One of the things I'll tell you that is good for me to be online and live, it forces me to stick to my own rules. Because I'll be brutally honest with you, I'm a price trader. I trade price. And that just comes from my many, many years of just being able to see price because I had to learn how to draw charts by hand. I need y'all to try to do that for a while, right? Draw charts by hand, plot charts by hand. That's how I was taught how to trade many years ago. And now you have technology that can do these things for you, and that's a great thing. So I want to drop this one as well. I want you to think about this. I love the technology that comes out or is coming out to aid traders and assist people and everyday people in the ability to be able to trade with artificial intelligence and things of that nature. I said this yesterday. I think it's a great tool, but I also think that you need to know what you're doing. I used this analogy yesterday. There are a lot of cars out there now that are self-driving, Tesla being one of them. However, you can get in a car and let the car drive for you. But if something goes wrong and you don't know how to drive yourself, what will you do? What will you do? So think about those kinds of things when it comes to the artificial intelligence. Allow it to be an aid, allow it to help you, but also know what's going on because I'm a firm believer you need to understand why something works in order for you to be able to capitalize on it. And when I say why it works, and I'm talking about you capitalizing on it, I'm not saying that you can't capitalize at all if you don't know how it works. I'm just going to say to you, if it stops working or if something changes, you'll know what to do. That's essentially what I said.
That's a good observation. That's a good.
What I'm hearing you saying is that you want to add drawing this stuff as part of the curriculum. You want to make that. You want to put that as a piece, just so people can understand what's going on.
No. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is people need to understand how to trade themselves. So even if they have an algorithm and we have an algorithm, but even if they have an algorithm or AI actually trading for them, they need to understand how to trade themselves. So if something goes awry, then they can then do what they need to do to still be profitable until they get it fixed or scrap it all together or do something different.
Well, I mean, I think it's an advantage. I think you have not an advantage. I mean, your years of experience is an advantage in itself, but having to go through the point of having to draw all of this stuff and graph it and plot it out yourself. Like you say, you trade price because you know what the indicators are going to do because you had to create the indicators. You had to draw you had to do it. So you can anticipate it a little bit better than anybody who didn't have that experience is waiting for the indicator to change. But you can say that's going to break that low right there. I know it's going to change because you put it, you done that work.
Yeah, watch this. That's true. But I'll tell you what I do now or what I teach now that that's part of what the taking the screenshots. And Ronald, you haven't gotten to it yet, but trust me when I tell you it's coming. Uh, um, taking the screenshots and having to take the screenshots does essentially the same thing without you having to do all of the manual labor per se. Um, because the screenshots, if you're taking the exact same screenshot every single time, it ingrains in your brain what you should be looking for. Like it used to be, right? It used to be difficult for me when I first came to the screen. It's not difficult for me anymore, but it was difficult for me at first because I had to, I want to do everything myself. I mean, it's the same thing now, right? You kind of, I know what's going on, so I want to do everything myself. The thing that I'm getting to now is, okay, cool. I'm going to show people how to be able to do this and be more efficient at it. Like right now, there's zero to do. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't have a trade by 10:30, we'll call it for the YouTube session um, because it is Thursday and is it moved much more last week than it is now. It's just that's an interesting thing to me. But it's at a resistance point too. So that's what you're dealing with. Remember, guys, we talked about that 120 area yesterday. You go straight across right now on that area. You see it just keeps hitting it, right? In this area. So just have to keep that in mind. Like it's right there on the cusp, but it looks like it's breaking down to me. So now everything's turning red. It looks that way anyway. So now you have trend now down on all the charts. Whoa, whoa. So the ABC pattern is no longer into effect. So you can go ahead and just say, hey, cool, the ABC pattern did not work. So we can now start looking in the opposite direction. This is a great dialogue this morning. Again, ladies and gentlemen, also, please like, subscribe, comment, and if you want a copy of my free book, Limitless Cash Flow, email support at theprofitstalker.com. Again, that's support at theprofitstalker. TheProfitstalker.com. And we'll definitely get the book out.
Got pulled back on the 900.
Yeah, we're waiting for that market structure. See that it gave you that one bar pullback, and you're waiting for that market structure. That sucks. I say it gave you this. It gave you a bunch of one bar.
But you consider that an ABC pattern, or you want something a little bit more?
I mean, no matter what, it's a one bar ABC pattern. but I wouldn't want to take that trade on that because it didn't give me. You want to see this setup on that 2700, and it didn't give it to you.
You want to see this set up on the 2700?
I'm sorry. You want to see you see how it gives you the one bar pullback on the 900?
Yeah.
You want to see the one bar pullback happen on the 2700. It didn't do that. The one bar pullback happened on the 900. You want to see the one bar pullback, and then you want to see the market structure pullback on and this is why, because that right there is you sick to your stomach right now. Same thing as that trade earlier I told you about. Exact same thing.
I said I hadn't really been looking at the 2700 that much just for the trend, momentum and trend, because I figured you get the market structure, you're going to get the one bar pullback.
Right, that's true, but you didn't get a market structure is my point. You didn't get a market structure on the 900.
So that's a trade probably on the 100. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. That is correct. That is correct. And you see, Ronald, what I'm talking about you don't want to, because if you didn't take your money immediately, you're stuck.
Yeah.
Be very careful about this too. Yes.
Would you count that as a move or?
Oh no, that's not a move, but
You just got the market structure.
what do you do not have that ABC pattern though. See that?
Yeah, they come in
Yeah,
like you got market structure. Now you're looking for the ABC pattern, right?
yeah. So it kind of like almost happens at the same time, but then you have if you get the ABC pattern, the momentum is liable. I'm not saying it is. It's liable to be trying to turn up. It's kind of a catch-22 in this situation. But you really, ladies and gentlemen, so let me say this out loud. I'm tell you exactly what I'm thinking. I don't want this trade right now. I want it to go up, test those highs on that 8,100, and then come back down. Do I not think that this trade could work? If it closes right here, I said right here.
Entry about 09. If it closes below 109.
If it closes right here, wherever this bar closes is the entry. But I wouldn't tell you to take this trade just yet. Because it might work, but everything's not in your favor, right? Because you have a green
112. 15.
So this is why I would tell you to wait on this, because it is not fluid yet. It's not there yet. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. From a price standpoint, you have an entry. From a system standpoint, you do not. In the system,
you said 27. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but the 2,700 short term momentum down there
is divergent. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, I thought you wanted everything to be red and red.
Right. I do want everything to be red and red, but that's my point. It's not red. That's why it's not a trade. Yeah. From a system standpoint, because it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain to you why and how I use the indicators. When price and the indicators aren't doing the same thing the way I have them set up, that means they're diverging from each other. And price typically rules. Price typically rules. But the underlying movement of the indicator tells you how strong prices move.
That's a good point.
So, I mean, again, was this a price setup? Yes, it was. And but it's not my setup, because I wouldn't tell you to take that trade there, because that's hard. And it's
appreciate
hard.
that. That's a good explanation for, you say indicators of training wheels and things like that, but I like how you just explained that.
I mean, I'm trying to do better, right? Going into 2024, because I got this young man on his phone. He ain't saying much right now, but he on this journey, and I got you gentlemen on the line with me, and y'all been on the journey. So I got these size 25 shoes I got to put on. And right now, my feet can only feel up to a 10, 10 and a half. Did you laugh at me, Quentin?
I grin. I just did a sneaky grin. That's all.
Hey, teamwork, man. You got a 10 and a half. I got a 14.
Yeah, there you go. Right. I mean, all I'm saying is y'all have not seen me put my best foot forward yet. Y'all have seen me put in work. With my absolute best foot, I'm sitting here telling you, it's something to behold. And that's all I can say. Because I'm typically, and I don't mind saying this so that people can understand. I I have children, and I believe wholeheartedly in making sure my children reach the goals that they say they're trying to reach. Um, and that's what I've been focused. That's what I've been focused on. And now that I've gotten my kids to where they can reach their goals, or they're close to reaching their goals, I can go back to reaching my goals. And yeah, we're gonna do it like that. So this thing right here is, and this is why you don't want to necessarily be in this trade, because it could go either way. And that's what I'm talking about, the strength of the move. The strength of the price movement is not that strong. You can tell because the indicator doesn't confirm it. Now, if the indicator turns over like it's trying to now, then the strength is going to come in, right? But as of right this very second, that price movement is not as strong as you want it to be, and to the downside, which says, warning, we may be trying to go down. Warning, we may be trying to go up.
Yeah, because that also, because we don't have the resistance line drawn at the moment. Now, could that also be close to what resistance is? If you don't have those lines and you're looking at that, you're saying, man, price and indicators aren't going together.
Yeah,
So
hold on.
yeah, you might be at a support or resistance level.
Yeah, that's also true. So let me do this here. Let me erase this,
And so
and we're
if
going to put the
you look
lines
at
up.
that, then you don't have to put the resistance lines on there. But you can use that if they're similar.
If what's similar?
There's the resistance support lines versus the indicator and price not going together. The indicators not necessarily going with price the way you want to see it.
Right. I mean, it's not. That's what the indicator is for. So you don't have to do much thinking. All you got to do is basically react. Because if you notice this trade, it is not working, and it didn't work for much, and it just stopped you out. If you take that trade against the system, I didn't. And ladies and gentlemen, let me say this: I didn't wake up on one day and say, "Hey, let me just see if this works," and then just put it out here. This came with a lot of trial and error thought, right? Because I'm trying to put something in anybody's hands where they can have it as a tool. It is not an end all or be all. You cannot trade any system by itself and go to Budapest and stay for a year and think you're gonna come back and be a billionaire. Not gonna work like that. It's not gonna work like that.
Did the system give you the trade? I think
The system did not give you the trade.
Yeah,
The system did not give you the trade because it was green
at
when
the
you got
time.
that.
Yeah.
When you got the trade. When you got the trade, it was green. I was just saying from a price standpoint, you have an entry at 1050 with a stop of 1550, and it went to, and this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, and it went to 6.25. If you don't take your money, which you don't want to because it didn't go 1-to-1, and then you're thinking, okay, cool, it's going down. It went to 575. It literally went within one tick of your stop. Remember that trade I took yesterday that literally went right to your target and then took off? Did the exact same thing there. And that's what I'm saying. When you don't follow the rules, you have a high probability of getting yourself in trouble. No other way to put it. And the rules are there for a reason, and we look at these charts this way for a reason. And see right here, we have a legit trade on the 900 if it closes below 0.9. But if it doesn't close below 0.9, again, there's nothing to do.
I'm assuming because one of your larger time frames is red and red.
Well, all I'm saying is based on what you can see, right? I mean, because I have to go to let's just do this. because I have time
Okay,
for
the
it.
trade on the 900.
We would have to go to the 24,300, right?
Yeah, because the 2,700 isn't lined up, but you don't have to be for the 900.
See, what has to be lined up is the 24,300 and the 8,100. So
Mm-hmm.
let's just see what 24,300 is doing. It's taking a while. This thing is slow as Christmas. And see,
There
that's what
you
I'm
go.
talking about. See, if it closes below, that lets you know momentum is strong to the downside on several charts. So, but that is also the trend is up on that 24,300. So the trend is up, but the momentum is saying that, hey, we're trying to go down. And that's where the struggle is, right? The struggle is the fight between the trend being up and momentum being down on them larger time frames. And that's why I tell you all the time, ladies and gentlemen, we trade momentum, trend, and timing. That's it. And we trade reversals inside trends. And then we trade trend within trends, and then we trade the reversals of the trends on a smaller time frame. I know that was a mouthful, but all I'm saying is, bottom line is, we trade a lot of trend. We do a lot of trend trading around here, and a lot of momentum trading. When those things aren't lined up, we don't trade. If you don't have trend and momentum in your favor, you might as well sit out and chill out, which is exactly what we're doing. A lot of waiting, but you can't miss it when it shows up, though. But
Right.
again, what I personally really want to see is price go up and test those highs and then fail. And then the moving average is the green line to be below the magenta line. That is my ultimate trade. And that's what I'm waiting for. So,
It's going to require some patience with the rate of volume is moving.
yeah, I was thinking that, and I was thinking about going out to the 100, but then I changed my mind because I said it'll be just my luck that when the volume pick up and that 100 chart is, I mean, if you're not used to looking at it, it'll give you googly eyes. It'll give you googly eyes. And plus, me trying to tell y'all to get into the trade or whatever the case is, and you pushing the button, and it's just it moves too fast. Too fast. Now, what do we have here? And this is what I'm talking about. That trade just never worked. Flat out never worked. So we wait. And the reason why it didn't work is because your trend and your momentum are not aligned. When trend and momentum aren't aligned, you get this kind of trading right here. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I can go ahead and show you so you can see it for yourself, right? A bunch of wicks. Like it's just, and when I say wicks, I mean you got a bunch of tails on these candlesticks, bunch of tails. That means it's a hard decision to make, and they're fighting. And when you see a fight, unless you want to get beat up too, stay out the way. I was having a conversation with someone, I don't remember who it was, telling them, I said, listen, if Warren Buffett, who's one of the wealthiest and most renowned investors of all time, was to say, hey, the market's going down, and he put every penny he had on the market going down. He himself, who has billions of dollars, would get swallowed up by the market like a tic-tac. Because then you would have trillions of dollars coming in on the other side to make that $1 billion look like nothing. Just keep that in mind. No one person can move the market by themselves for an extended period of time. It's not possible. Don't have enough money for that. I'm not saying that somebody won't be that rich one day, but as of today, Warren Buffett have to call his friends, and a lot of them. So just sharing little nuggets as we go along here. And again, the ABC pattern is not in effect. Where is our trend on our 8100? Let me do this. Let me hide all the indicators for a second. And let's just look at what price is. So you have a lower high, lower low. Is this going to be a lower high? Potentially, yes. Potentially, yes. Not
If it breaks that red candle, that's the ABC pattern working, right? If it doesn't break it, then the ABC pattern is no longer in effect. I'm making sure I heard you, or maybe I heard something totally different.
Yeah, I don't see the ABC pattern working anymore, even though the C did come all the way down here. That is true. The C did move here. And then if price closes above this line here, the previous ABC pattern didn't work, but this ABC pattern could work to the upside. Because it did just kind of go down. It went down, not in the smoothest of ways, but it did go down. So if price closes above that line, then you may have a reason to go up. And the problem with that is, right?
You got a lower, and then you have a lower low. If you get a lower high with another lower low, that's a trend down.
Well, we have the trend down now. If you have, but you got a lower high and you got a lower low. With this right here, doesn't break those highs.
Oh yeah, backdoor trend. So lower high, lower low, lower high. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it gets up there and closes, you're still going to be in a quandary, right? And the reason why is because we're not in the business of trying to predict anything. But now, if this thing gets above here and closes, it's going to be interesting. That's all I got. It's going to be interesting. Please, questions, comments. We've been dialoguing all morning, but would love to.
And like I said, we got the downtime on that short that we didn't take. The way we didn't get it, so it wasn't like we didn't take it. It wasn't a system trade, but you were tracking it. You said it was a loser, straight up, and it looked like it made some money, but it never hit our 1-to-1. So when you talk about whether or not what's a winner, what's a loser, straight up, maybe just go into some detail about how we determine winners and losers, just for people who listen. We got.
Say it for me one more time, Keith, because I didn't.
How do we determine winners? How are we determining winners and losers versus watching the trade go maybe 5 points, but then saying it didn't win? Because some people might be looking at, hey, it made some money. So what?
Well, no, if it doesn't, I mean,
yeah, I'm just
that said,
I understand it, but I'm just we trying to kill some time. So there's things that people might have questions about that a lot of people don't ask. They just sit there and look. So if that's the question somebody has, it's just basically our stops and our start. What's our stop? What's our target? How we determine how many points we want to trade to determine a loser versus just saying, all right, it went a little bit, let me get out. That type of thing.
Well, here's the black and white of it. Trade goes 1-to-1 is considered a winner, period. So if your stop is 8 points and it goes 8 points, it's considered a winner. Whether or not you hold on to that trade depends on the market that you're in at that particular time. Because the market is trending hard, you might want to stay in the trade. If the market has been meandering and going between support and resistance all day, might want to get out of the trade. And that's something that is literally done on a case-by-case basis. And the reason why it's done on a case-by-case basis is because there is no time ever where two markets are identical at the in two different time frames. Because let me give you an example. The reason why we look at so many time frames, the reason why we have 4 different time frames up, is simply because, and only because, what we're trying to do is go in the direction of that largest time frame, because that largest time frame moves. The larger the time frame, the bigger the institution is that's trading it. That's just FYI, ladies and gentlemen. That's just the bigger the time frame, the bigger the institution that's trading it. And the reason being is because of the stops, targets, and the amount of money that can be made in those bigger time frames. So again, black and white, if it goes 1-to-1, it's considered a winning trade. You have an 8-point stop and it goes 8 points in your favor, it's considered a winning trade. Whether you hold on to that trade will depend on how ferocious the trend is on that larger time frame. I'll give a perfect example while we wait. There's absolutely nothing now because you have every chart says something different. Like you have red and green here. You have green and now trying to start turning green here. You have green and green here when you actually need this to be red when you go into the trade there. So it's discombobulated right now. If price closes above that high though, above that line there, it's a wrap. I think she's going to try to go up for a time being. Let me show you what I'm talking about, bro, so you can see it. It'll be easy to show you here. This right here, and I'm sure you had some trades on this way up here. This right here is a trade you want to stay in. Why? Because it's strong trend up. If you get in a trade right here, it's kind of a long trade, you might not want to stay in that trade long. Why? Because you can see it's flat. Angle and separation, that's why I have the MAs on there, because it's easy. I look at it and I can see instantly what's going on. You see angle and separation here. See what I'm talking about? When you see angle and separation on your larger time frame, that's strong. When you can't see angle and separation on your larger time frame, that's weak. Simple as that. 2 long trades.
No.
One of them you should hold, one of them you shouldn't. It's literally as simple as that. Like in this case here, this thing right here is flat.
Yep.
Completely flat. So there's literally, I'm not interested in it for real, to be honest with you, because I don't know what way she's going to go.
I think I know somebody that talked about that in April of 2023, about that angle and separation.
Oh, that angle and separation is everything. It's going to tell you exactly what you want to know, right? And the other thing that I don't mention that I do all the time that I don't say out loud is you have to spread your charts out. In other words, you have to expand them. Y'all got to forgive me because zooming in and zooming out misses me on which one is which sometimes, but zooming out, I think it is, right? Where you can see you can see more information so you can make an educated decision. Like when you zoom this out, I'm gonna ask you a question, a very legitimate one. Should you be long or short?
You asking who?
I'm asking the crowd. I'm asking you guys. I'm asking the crew. Should you be long or short right now? Should you be biased, long or short?
I think it should be by short based on I think it should be by short.
Okay, Keith, what you say?
That's a trick question.
It is a trick question. it,
Right
it
now,
is a trick question.
right now, I'm chilling. I'm neutral.
Right. Right now, you should be neutral. The reason why you should be neutral is because the trend hasn't validated short yet, and it hasn't told you. It's giving you an ABC pattern now. Let's look and see something. This thing may be actually. Hold on a second. It may be. It may be. So it closed above it, right?
I did.
So just from looking at a price standpoint, it did close above it, but you got to be very, very careful, right? You got to be very, very careful. Um, but Quentin, I see exactly what Quentin's talking about. You should be by his short because the long-term momentum is down. So if it turns over, then you should have a trade,
Yeah.
which is absolutely, absolutely right, right? The thing is, because you can make a case, I just made the case for the long, Quentin made the case for the short. So that means we shouldn't be doing anything.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And it's getting flatter and fatter by the second, seems like it.
When somebody give you a multiple choice test and question and they only give you two choices when there's a third answer, that's just you made the best choice.
Okay.
That's the way to do it. I mean, that's the other choices you had. B was the way. The short was the way to go. They'll tell you about that C.
Guys, give me 1 second. Let me.
Because you look at it, like you say, the trend hasn't really set. ABC pattern confirmed, but it could still go down. You can still get a lower low or a lower high. And then you got a trend down. So it's just, yeah.
I got you, Keith.
That's why, the moving averages, he hasn't talked a lot about angle and separation recently.
I actually mentioned it last week.
Yeah, you did.
I said I don't like that because I don't see much black or angle and separation between those moving averages.
Yeah.
And
I
they,
think
and some basic things that I learned that in 2023. I know we're winding down, but man, it seems like those basic principles, those basic fundamentals, if you get a handle on the basic fundamentals to build your foundation, I think you can really build on that going forward.
Yeah. I think that needs to be point noted just because he's teaching so much stuff and he's trying to streamline it, things like that. But certain things might need to make sure that we emphasize it. So we got away from angle and separation. And I think he did that because he's trying to get it to where, you look at it red and red, boom, boom, you don't have to think about that. When it comes to angle and separation, that can be a gray area as far as what's considered separation, what's considered angle, things like that.
And
So, and go.
go ahead. And I'll say this, and I know we're learning past indicators, but I also say that the way those indicators were set up, like a ABC or a 1, 2, 3, they're quick to recognize. Starting from the left to the right, you're looking at your long-term momentum. If it's not the color you need to see, or if it is, then you're going next and looking at your moving averages. Are they trending the way you want them to trend? In that same direction as that long-term momentum. And then the hardest part I had to learn was to look for that ABC pattern or that reversal or that green bar break, and then we in there, and
Yeah.
everything is lined up. Everything is lined up, and that's where we're going into 2024. I believe is where we start to add to the trade, where we start to leverage and we start to add on.
Yeah.
I love this dialogue. I'm listening, so y'all keep talking because I love to hear this dialogue. I'm gonna chime in a minute. I'm just letting you know I'm back. That's all.
The ABC pattern, a lot of that stuff is just, you say, the screenshots and things like that from a training point of view. Once you can recognize the ABC pattern, because it's not easy a lot of times for people when they first learning to see that. Just like with the 2Bs and stuff like that, it takes a while to train your eye to recognize them quickly without having to go through, all right, this, and that. Because once the market gets moving, it's hard. You know, you might miss it trying to figure out if it was the ABC pattern. And I think but now most people are comfortable with that. It's easier to put it in instead of trying to use indicators or arrows and stuff like that to try to predict the ABC or to try to mimic the ABC pattern.
Man,
That's what it is.
When I first saw this January 2023, it looked like Mandarin. Trying to learn Mandarin. And I don't know what Mandarin, you know, I heard that's one of the hardest ones to learn. I'm sitting here looking and it was just Mandarin, you know, or Greek or whatever. You just could not recognize it. But the more I put my eyes on it, the more I, you know, had that screen time or that windshield time, it definitely started to train my eyes, you know. And it's just like, you know, there's a big game coming up here on Monday, on this weekend, and those guys run those drills and run those plays and run those drills and run those plays and run those drills and run those plays to create that memory. So when it's game time, they execute, and that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, and like I said, it's nothing. I don't think anything replaces live. I don't think anything replaces live watching it live, or you know, just to see it happen live. But other than that, and like I said, he's evolved how he's trained and stuff. But those
don't you coach basketball and track?
Yeah, I coach basketball and track.
You coach basketball and track, and I'm sure there's some things that your team, your students don't want to do, but they're so glad when they achieve on game day or track day, they be like, coach got us on this one. We definitely got to do this again.
Yeah, they buy into it eventually. They got to see the success. So but that's just.
Hey, let me chime in on that. Hey, Keith, remember when I came out and I had all them apparatuses and I told people, watch this. Keith can tell you this because he was there. I think that was the funniest thing. I tied the kids up to the weighted sack. You remember that? And I made them run 400s.
Yeah.
And I let the other person get a head start. Man, them kids thought I was crazy, and so did the coaches. They thought I was like literally crazy. I just had to bring that up because I thought that was funny. But then the next track meet, when people were PR and they were like, "Wow, it just felt so easy." I just had that was a sidebar, man, because that's exactly people buy in when they see results.
Yeah.
And that's a part of life. I mean, you know, the coach has wisdom. The person who's doing the training has wisdom that the team members don't necessarily have at that time. And we can, what they say, what Nick Saban would tell them, trust the process.
Trust the process. Yeah. Well, we used to say one of the things that came across was master the boring. And just learning those little things. Like you can do those drills every day, kids hate them. But you get good at the drill, you get good, master the boredom. And when it's time for you to play, you know, that muscle memory gonna kick in.
The 8100 is really crawling right now.
8100 has been crawling. Or like all week. So and I was
watch this though. Listen to me. We're not going to take the trade because it's not 100% alignment, but you do have an ABC pattern that if it closes above 36.75, remember that 36.75 is what I talked about before from on this area. I mean on the 8100 when I talked about this bar. I'm telling you now, if it closes above, it's just not a line that I can take it. But if it closes above 36.75, you may have that thing may go up for a minute. You have a market structure, you have green and green, but you don't have the momentum on the other time frame is still
down.
Long-term momentum is still down.
Yeah, still
and
flat.
That's the
yeah, but it's still flat, really. So,
Oh, I think it's. I mean, you can't see the difference between. Watch this. I'm gonna show it to you because I know that white line is not making it completely objective. So let me do this. You can't see the difference between the green and the purple right now. The green has got a hair above the purple, but if things come down a little bit, you can't see that. You can't tell where they are. They literally that flat right now.
yeah.
And this is why I say now this is a reversal bar. So you know it's tough. Tough stuff, boss.
A larger time frame still pointing down. I'm assuming
Well,
it
the
is.
time frame was pointed up. Remember, it was pointed, but it
Talking
had
about
the momentum going down.
the 24,000. Like,
The 24,000, right? 24,000 was going. You see, the momentum's down, but it's just again. But this is when you don't trade. Ronald, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
I know you've been soaking it in, huh?
Yeah, I've been looking for something, and I'm trying to kind of I think that's probably the biggest thing for me is just making sure I know these reversals and market structures and things like that when I see them.
If
Ronald's
you
trying to
hadn't
find a
had,
trade.
huh?
He trying to find a trade. He not gonna miss it when it comes.
No,
Focus.
he gonna point it out to you.
He gonna
He
be
gonna
trying to
definitely point
find a
it out to you.
trade. Yeah, I feel him. But like yesterday, we sat there for like even this morning, we sat here thinking, waiting for it to go short, waiting for that short, and it never triggered. And because the 8100 moving so slow, like the patience has to be real right now because
Yeah.
it's just taking forever for things to set up, and we basing it off the 8100. I was going to ask you, but you asked it. You answered the question before I asked it. I was like, when it's slow like this, would you consider dropping down to a smaller time frame so you can actually get a trade? But then you brought up the fact that the 100, it be moving too fast and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, I
yeah.
don't mind. And ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and get ready and end today's session. We've been on for about an hour and 15 minutes, and appreciate you logging on with us. Um, I am going to give a nugget, and I want you to stay for it. Let me answer Keith's statement or respond to Keith's statement about the 100. The 100 is not that you would have trades on the 100 volume chart, but it's not conducive for me calling the trades across internet waves. Because if I call the trade and you try to get into it, or you say you want to, hey, when it closes below here, closes below there, whatever the case is, if everything's not exactly on point, the thing gets to moving because your margins for error is so small, you can't take a point and a half slippage. Because if you take that point and a half slippage, your profit target might not be for 5 points. Now it's only 3, right? And that kind of stuff. And then if two people get different prices, now you got to manage both of those, and on 100, that's a lot, right?
Yeah,
So, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, listen to me, right? In all that you do, get an understanding. Let me tell you what I mean by that. What we do is extremely simple, but it is not easy. And if everybody could do it, a lot more people would be doing it. You have to get up every morning attempting to strive for perfection, knowing that you will never be perfect. If you do that every day you will progress. Listen to that statement again. If you get up every day striving for perfection, knowing you will never be perfect, you'll have progress every single day. On that note, I'm out, ladies and gentlemen. See you tomorrow for the last day of 20.